Welcome, my beautiful brothers and sisters. How are you? We are here today to talk about the alchemy, the transformation, the going through the fire and the flames, so to speak, of transforming into the version of you that goes from dreaming of certain realities to living those realities, to embracing the fact that the dream, the dream you've been given, the vision you've been given, is always going to be more fantastical in your mind than the reality. But that doesn't mean the reality won't be better than the dream. And what I mean by that is we have ideas. We dream of the beautiful result that we want, that excites us. Our soul is a spark of that dream. Our soul came here with specific dreams that it wanted to make manifest as a tangible, real experience. But we can get stuck on one end of the dreaming and becoming process and not realize, or maybe not have the perseverance and fortitude to see it through to its actual manifestation. And so I want to talk about that process of transformation, of expansion, to stepping into those realities, because I am still in the middle of this transformation. And what I committed to 2 years ago in my own journey to self, my own journey of living as my higher self, I committed to my highest timeline. And that was more of a general thing because I truly, at the time, didn't really know exactly what I wanted. I didn't know. So what I committed to was more of a general, I know that I came here to live out certain dreams. And I trust that the higher self, the part of me that has the top down perspective, so to speak, knows exactly what my heart truly desires, what my soul would be most fulfilling to my soul. And really it comes down to what you love enough to stay committed and devoted to your dreams of what you would love to experience, and be devoted to yourself. And to me, what always motivated me most, what always inspired me most, was love itself. I have always thought that this life is really about love. The most fulfilling things in this life to me have to do with love. And love doesn't, I don't mean love only in the terms of a relationship, but love in terms of love for life, love for reality itself, love for God, love for yourself, love for who you are. And when you really live in that love, in that authentic expression of who you are, because you love who you are, because you have come to love yourself so completely and totally, then it can be reflected to you in another. And so for me, I'm going to talk about this as love, because whatever dream you have, even if you, whether you know what it is or not, no matter what aspect or area of life this dream concerns, it is always going to come down to love. And when we have immense love for anything, for something, for any expression of life, we have to embrace the polarity, the totality of it, because the love that we have for something is always going to exist on a spectrum. And here in what we call physical reality, there is the law of polarity, which means as much as you may feel passion and love and inspiration by something, on the other end of the energy spectrum is going to be great disdain and disgust and hatred for these things. So if you're looking for union within yourself, you will also have the great pain and fear of separation within yourself, or the perception of it, the experience of it, because of course we're never actually separate from anything or any desire or any part of ourself. We are always connected. This is the truth of oneness. But we have the experience of individuality, of separateness. And it is our responsibility to realize that those feelings are not really who we are. They're not really who we are, but we still must embrace the completeness of the positive and negative ends of every spectrum. Because everything exists on a spectrum here. Everything in our human experience, everything in what we call physical reality or energetic reality exists in spectrum. And so as much love as you may feel, for example, I, was open to and calling in a loving relationship last year. And as soon as it went from purely mental, purely a dream, to someone actually starting to reflect that back to me, that love that I was feeling, the love that I felt for myself and the potential of this dream relationship coming to fruition, as soon as that even became a little bit real, a little bit like, oh, I asked for it and now something is showing up, someone is showing up, that took me through a full range of energies that I needed to feel and integrate. Because if I want this great love in my life, and this is something that I wanted my whole life, but when I was younger, I did not understand what I needed to go through in order to allow that into my reality, because of the karma I came here, that I needed to overcome, the adversity within me that needed to be felt and expressed and loved and healed. I didn't realize that I needed to go through the pain of rejection, of extreme loneliness, of self-hatred. It was basically, if I want love in this era, in my life, if I want this loving relationship with myself and another, and with life itself, I have to be willing to face the full spectrum of love. And that includes the opposites of love. And to realize that they're not separate, right? It's the full range of love. And so I needed to feel extreme jealousy and envy. I needed to feel extreme anger and rage, extreme loneliness, extreme self-hatred, hatred for life, hatred for love itself. Because if you want the truly expansive, loving experience, you must open up to the full experience. To know that in your mind, in the fantasy, you dream of all the parts that you love about a potential relationship. But to know that a relationship in this world, in reality, in the experience of both positive and negative, of the full range of the up and down, the ebb and flow, the full pendulum swing of life, you have to be open to all of it. And so for months, I resisted facing those wounds, facing those insecurities, facing those energies, being willing to integrate into it. But the more that I recognized what was happening, the more I opened up to and surrendered into the experience. If we want to make any dream a reality, it comes through tremendous faith and trust, perseverance, commitment, devotion, and patience. You have to trust that that future version of you already exists. You have to trust that the divine, loving presence of God that is within you is guiding you through all of the experiences and energies that you need to feel, experience, express, and integrate in order to become the version of you that steps into the energy of your dream becoming reality. If you want your dreams to become reality, you have to be willing to feel, because feeling is healing. And if there is anything blocking you from the reality that you choose to align with, that lights up your heart, that lights up your soul, you have to be willing to go through the inner transformation process, the alchemical process of expansion, because we're always expanding. This journey is about expanding, about knowing yourself more and more. And so if you want to move into what's next for you, into what is calling your heart and your soul, you must be willing to go through the fire of transformation, of expansion, of death and rebirth. And it's not for the faint of heart. And the more that you ask for, if you truly align with what would be most fulfilling to you at this moment in your life, this time in your life, and you're moving from a place where you let go of so much in order to free yourself, free your energy up to go through this transformation, to step into a whole new life, a whole new reality, one that is far more fulfilling than anything you've ever experienced. It is going to take an expansion that you have never gone through, which means you will have to be willing to feel things that are uncomfortable and unpleasant. And there were moments in recent months where I truly did have to have just blind faith through the most painful feelings. Feelings of being completely alone. Feelings of being unsupported. Feelings of not being loved. Of being rejected. Of being betrayed. Of being denied. And to hold space for it. We are the limitless consciousness. We are the awareness, the observer, the witness to this process we call life. We are the witness to the emotions. We are the witness to the thoughts. We are the witness to all of it. And so it's important that we detach so that we can go through this process. The only way you're going to make it through this process is through detaching. It's a process of realizing you're too attached to things and then detaching and then cycling through that again and again until you realize just how true it is that you're not these things, that you can go through all of these painful experiences and that you do not have to carry them with you as you move forward. And while it may take time to fully release something and let it go, you will always make it through that if that is your commitment, if that is your choice, and you want to fully embrace the limitlessness that you are here. You must be willing to go through the uncomfortable things and not let them define you. Who you are is perfect, divine, unconditional love. That is your true nature. And when you can hold space for the lowest of the lows to be felt within this vessel, and to have compassion, self-love, self-acceptance, self-forgiveness. You transcend the typical understanding of being human. And it's not about transcending humanity at all. It's about transcending the idea of what it means to be human. To be fully human and fully divine, all here, all now, because it's all divine, because it's all one. And the separateness that we experience is not the truth. The separateness that we experience is the illusion. And when we can hold space for it, then we learn to love more and more like our Creator. Because our Creator is constantly holding space for these experiences to be had, for the illusion of duality and separateness to be experienced, so that unique lessons and experiences may occur within eternity. It is the truest and fullest allowance of what is possible. When everything is one, how does the one experience other? Experience free will, experience separateness. It has to be through illusion, which means we have to, in a way, honor the fact that illusion occurs. That illusion is not the eternal truth, but it does exist as an idea and experience. And when we allow that, then in a way, we kind of overcome the illusion of what it's like to have a fantasy, to have a dream. And because the dream is ultimately an illusion until it becomes reality, until it becomes your actual lived experience. It's just an idea. And so to make it reality is to embrace the oneness and the illusion at the same time, to be willing to feel it all, to be willing to go through the transformation and trust that if you just stay the course, be more patient than you could ever imagine, just commit to patience. Being patient is about committing to patience. As soon as you think, oh, I've been patient enough, you're starting to be impatient. You're starting to be impatient. It is never going to be in the timing that your mind thinks it will be, but it will always happen eventually when you have faith, when you trust, when you have patience and perseverance, and you trust the process. And I can tell you that going through this process, there were times when I didn't understand why I had to go through such immense pain and suffering. But I stayed the course and I trusted, because I do believe in the wisdom that our dreams are given to us and they are meant for us. And if we just don't give up, if we just persevere through the difficult moments, be patient with ourselves, sit with ourselves during the most difficult moments, we can make it through anything. I have made it through the lowest of lows that I could imagine, and I did not ever want to experience those things. And if I knew that they were coming, I wouldn't have wanted to experience them. But when I was in them, I was present. And I made it through all of them. And on the other end of going through many deaths and rebirths, many trials and tribulations, much pain and suffering, I sit here a different man than I was even a few weeks ago, a few months ago, a year ago, when this dream started to become more real. I sit here a man who is much more focused, much more disciplined, much closer to the reality that I desire, even though I've had to go through extremes, or what felt extreme to me, that felt very far away from the dream and reality that I wanted to live. But it is worth it to continue. It is worth it to continue. I can sit here today and tell you that it is worth it, and you will get to a new energy, a new way of being. And it is important to track your progress. It is important to remember how you were months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago. Notice, even though the progress seems slow, it is worth it to stay committed to what is calling you, to know that you are meant for beautiful things, for great things, and that they are well on their way, and there is a timing to all of it. And when you get to that desired reality and it becomes a real experience, a tangible experience, you will know that it was all worth it. You will know that everything you went through was necessary, and you will see with greater clarity why it was preparing you the way you needed to be prepared to step into that version of you. Every version of you that you can imagine already exists. The question is, are you willing to stay committed to the vision through the transformation process? And that is up to you. I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. And best of luck to you in your transformation.